Hi, Alexa here. Today I'll share Inside Scuttle, which is a Mission 4 segment from Medal of Honor Above and Beyond. The player and Ollie have just managed to come on board a German prototype U-boat disguised in Kriegsmarine uniform during its sea trials.
Well, we made it aboard the submarine.
The mission is to scuttle it in any way possible. As Ollie waits for the right timing for a surprise attack, the U-boat experiences a depth charge attack.
That'll do.
He clears the room, giving you time to arm up. The main challenge in designing this segment came from how small submarines are. U-boats only have about enough space for you to squeeze through corridors, keeping your stance low at all times. Especially in a VR game where we can't constrain the player camera or stance, just navigating through could be frustrating. Thankfully, I had some creative liberties to work with. The game's U-boat 1197 is based off of the German Type 21 submarine, which was bigger than the most common Type 7. And narratively, it was a fictitious prototype, which let me shift around the details to fit the gameplay a little more. These bulkhead doors in real life are very tight. In reality, you couldn't just walk through these as you would a regular doorway. But your lower body isn't tracked in VR. So not only did I have to make them a bit bigger in the game, but the player collision on the bottom lip was actually cut up like this. So in the case of the player walking through, the player would only need to duck a little. A firefight inside a submarine sounds about as reckless as it gets, but hey, you're here to destroy it. Again, the challenge with combat also came from the small environment. Our AI behavior is optimized to fight in open space, and they're made to slowly advance on you as I fight. This segment was an outlier. In a long, single, narrow corridor like a U-boat, that meant the AI would walk up to you in a single file line. The ones in the back either could not shoot, or at times would accidentally shoot their friend in the way. Instead of spawning them in groups and letting them free roam, I gave them animations of getting out of cover when the player got close. I staggered their spawning so the ones further back wouldn't pop out when the ones in front were in the way shooting. The result is a cascade of enemies that felt like they were careful not to shoot their own.
Affirmative.
Unfortunately for the player, the allied ships have run out of depth charges. Ollie comes up with a dangerous idea of using the U-boat's torpedoes on itself. These torpedoes are based off of the German T5 torpedoes, which were acoustic torpedoes that tracked its target by sound. Many were used during the war, but ended up not as effective because Allied ships countered it with decoy noisemakers. They also could be turned around to target the U-boat itself if not fired with caution, which did happen enough, apparently. Which brings us back to Ollie's crazy idea.
Torpedo away! Now we need the torpedo to make us its target. Lieutenant, you need to find something that can make a loud sound.
The T5 torpedo needs a minimum distance of 400 meters before locking onto a target. The speed of the torpedo was about 24 knots. That meant you'd launch it, then wait until...
Alright, Lieutenant.
There are some options to how you'd make sounds. The most straightforward one is to shoot your guns.
Lieutenant.
You can also throw cooking utensils,
Louder, Lieutenant.
or you can play the sax. Why would there be a saxophone in a submarine? I put it there mostly as a joke, but of course this works for the gameplay as well. Thank you, Earl. And that's it. Hope you enjoyed this video and hope you have a better day than this U-boat.